Hi folks, welcome to IT Rockstars. My name is Scott Miller. I've got a question for you about your website. What is the purpose of your website? Have a think about that. Now, I'm guessing it's probably one of the purposes, the reason you've got it, is to generate more business. And you might have a big problem that you're not aware of on your website to generate more business. And there's one thing that we're going to discuss today. But first, I have to introduce Matthew Rodela of Tech Site Builder. Tech Site Builder allows IT businesses to create an effective and professional website in under 1 hour. Tech Site Builder is fully hosted, speed optimized, and secure with the latest SEO capabilities baked into the solution. In today's interview, we're going to be going over the layout and steps involved in converting more of your website visitors to paying clients. Now, that one big problem that you might have with your website is what I call the bucket of water problem. Imagine your website is a bucket of water, and that bucket of water has holes in the bottom. You turn on the tap and the water just falls through the holes. You're not collecting any of that water in the bucket. Well, the same might be true for your website. No matter how good your SEO is, how good your Facebook, when people are landing on your website might not be converted correctly to convert those visitors into phone calls, emails, and opportunities for your business. So that's what we're going to be covering today. But first, Matthew, we're going to have to get into this. Is it Matt or Matthew?
Either one is fine. If you want to say Matt, it's shorter, so that'll help you say it quicker.
Cool. Okay. All right, I'll get right into this then. So I see from your LinkedIn that you also have a WordPress consultancy. How does that relate to Tech Site Builder, and what's that all about?
Yeah, those two things kind of happened at the same time. So I started out running an IT services business and was doing that for a few years. And through doing that, I was building websites for my clients as one of the services I provided, among others. And I realized not only was there a lot involved in creating a website that I didn't realize when I started. For example, you really need to become a marketer, and you need to figure out the purpose of their business and the type of clients they need. And there's a lot that goes in before you even start designing it and putting it on the page. So as I started digging into that, I realized that I really had a lot of fun and I really liked that aspect of it. So I decided to focus on that. So a few years ago, I kind of dissolved my IT consulting company and rebranded as just a WordPress web consulting agency.
Okay.
About the same time, an opportunity came along for Tech Site Builder. Tech Site Builder started out as something that was created by a fellow named Steve Cherubino, who started the Podnuts podcasting network.
Okay.
He created Tech Site Builder as it was just a WordPress template that you can download and install on your own WordPress site. And then it came with a package of a bunch of videos that he would walk you through setting it up. And there were some like AdWords and PPC training in there and stuff. So he packaged all that up and sold it to IT computer businesses.
I see.
He decided to get out of the world of IT services and helping IT services. So he sold Podnuts off, and then he sold Tech Site Builder to me because he knew that I was into building websites and stuff.
I see. Okay.
So I acquired it from him. And
did you get a good deal?
I did.
Excellent.
It's worked out very well up to this point. Because what I did with it is I realized that trying to create a template and support that was really hard, because everybody has different plugins they're using and different hosting sites they're using, and to support each one of those people and to make sure they're successful with their website would have required a team, a whole tech support team and stuff. So I decided to make it easier for me to support and easier for other people to use, to make it a fully hosted solution. So now Tech Site Builder is something you come to us and we give you the dashboard that you can use to create your website, and then all you need to do is point your domain at it. You don't need to worry about hosting or.
So it's a whole solution then, yeah. It's an all-in-one sort of package.
It's a turnkey solution where you just you fill out your information and it pops out a website, and then we give you the tools where you can change the layout completely. You can make it look exactly how you want, or it looks fine when you first get it. So it's kind of up to you how much you want to put into it. That's kind of where we are now.
So how long has Tech Site Builder been in the go since, since it was a WordPress theme to today? How long has it actually been in existence?
I'm not sure how long it was in its WordPress theme days, but I've been running it for about 3 years now.
Okay.
So the first year it was the transition period, so it was still a theme. So now for the last about 2 years, it's been what it is now, which is like a fully hosted solution like the Wix and Squarespaces of the world.
Okay.
And so we've been doing that now for about 2 years.
And how many version revisions, like major version revisions, have you seen?
Well, the cool thing about how it is now is I can make just small iterative changes over time. Every time I make a change, it affects everybody's website. And I don't like to make huge changes because that's going to affect everybody's website, right? So,
oh wow. Okay.
So it's just gradual little changes to the back end. I implemented a page builder recently, so it's easier for people to drag and drop stuff around.
Okay.
And then I'll make, behind the scenes, SEO changes and stuff. And so it's an always evolving process and always trying to make it better over time.
I've just got stuck in with a page builder myself. I've had it for about 6 months now, but now that I'm actually starting to produce content, I'm using one that's called, one called Thrive for WordPress. Have you heard of that one?
Yep.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
So I really like that, but I'll have to check out the Tech Site Builder one if I ever get a chance to get in there. So if it's been on the go for 3 years, can I ask how many customers you have?
We've got a couple hundred.
Okay, that's a good number.
Customers currently using it, and I think it's great because we're just a 2-person team. It's me and my assistant. She handles a lot of the the first level customer support and a lot of the back end kind of accounting and maintenance of it, and then I handle the marketing and the kind of hardcore development side of it. So it's just the 2 of us, and it's great because it's a platform. We're able to support hundreds of customers, and the average Tech Site Builder customer doesn't even contact us for support at all, because we try to we have some videos in the dashboard to walk you through everything you need to do to set up the site. So my goal with Tech Site Builder was to make it as scalable for me and as easy for you as the customer to just get in there and make it work for you. And so I think we've struck a good balance there.
That sounds good. So is there you mentioned the average customer, is there, there's many different types of IT businesses out there. Is there any type of IT business that sits well with Tech Site Builder, or does it cover a number of different categories?
Yeah, we're really good for those who are just getting started, or those who don't have the time to put into developing their own website. So a lot of our customers either don't have that skill set, they're not good at design or coding, or they're just getting started and they just need a website to get up and running really quickly while they focus on building their business.
I see. Okay.
And my goal this year especially is to make Tech Site Builder a place that you can grow with us. So as you grow into building your business, maybe transitioning to MSP services and kind of having that business focus, we want to kind of provide more opportunities to integrate with things like third-party RMMs and that kind of thing, a repair shopper and those kind of things, and have those integrations, some e-commerce stuff. So that way, as your business grows, Tech Site Builder can grow with you.
That sounds good. So with these clients that have come to you, they maybe have and it's maybe, they're IT businesses that are just getting started. They might have a website. Have you got any, from memory, any sites? Like what's the worst example of a site and a customer's come to you that, they need help? They need Tech Site Builder.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people come to us because they know that their website is outdated or it needs a facelift, basically. I mean, I can't think of like one in specifically, but I know there are lots that you can tell they used maybe a front page template or a Dreamweaver style template. They have, some of them still have like the animated
wow. Okay.
things on them.
That's from what year is that from? 2001, 2000?
Yeah, maybe late
animation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So you'll have that. You'll have the websites where you have to sit through an animation at the beginning before you can click through to get to the actual website.
Okay.
stuff like that. None of them are mobile optimized. They take forever to load. It's just a wall of text on the homepage.
Uh-huh.
Like a whole biography and life story of the person who runs the business on the homepage.
That's what one of my old sites was like. It was
Yep.
the whole website was actually one page, and it worked back in 2007, I think.
Right. Yeah, and so
it wasn't user friendly. It didn't look nice.
Right, and a lot of them say, well, hey, it works for me. I've had it up to this point, and I'm doing okay. But what they don't realize is how much better they could be doing.
Yeah.
After they redesign it, and how a website works as a filtering system. And you want to filter out the wrong types of people and filter in the right types of people.
Okay.
And a lot of times with those old, outdated sites, you're bringing on the bargain hunters and the people who, are gonna kind of not be your ideal client.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. I always, when I visit a website that's really kind of old looking, I always think to myself, and these guys they don't care about what their website looks like. They must be doing well. They must have a good business that they're not having to market. That's that's always the thought in the back of my head, and I just kind of shake my head when I look at them. Hey folks, just a quick word from our sponsor of today's show. Now, you might be like me. I had a problem in IT sales. It lasted for about 4 years. The hardest part about IT sales is generating more leads and opportunities. Now, what I mean by leads and opportunities, that's businesses and companies coming to you looking for managed service agreements, looking for your IT services, your IT support. So if you're in IT sales, I feel your pain. I know your pain. Anyway, today's sponsor is a book. It's called Bear Attack SEO for MSP and IT providers. It's been specifically written to help you use your own website to generate more business leads using search engine optimization. So if that tickles your fancy, just Google Bear Attack SEO. We're proud to have them as today's sponsor. Okay, so on to the content for this interview. As I said, it's going to be planning your website so you can convert more customers when they land on your website. And I've kind of broken it down into 4 sections here. I should have probably consulted with you, Matt, before I broke these sections down. You'll have a better idea of this than me, but the first section, the first module is the website content. And the first question I've got, if we're building a website for my IT business, what are the basic pages that I would need on that site and why?
Yeah, I mean, and it can be really simple, and a lot of people try to overcomplicate their business website because your business is your baby, right? And you want to talk about all the different services you provide and be excited, talk about your team and your location and your history and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And really, you just want to put yourself in your client's shoes and what is important to them and what are they going to want to know. And really, the key pieces of content you want is, of course, the homepage, and we'll get into what you want to put on there later. You want a list of the services. You want a place where people can see what services you provide, and the whole debate around do you display your prices, and that's a whole nother conversation. But a place for that, a place where people can go to contact you, and I like to, as soon as you have them, to have a place where you highlight testimonials and or case studies or examples of work you've done,
okay.
And, as some kind of social proof. And then I think a blog or news area is pretty important.
Okay.
A lot of people don't do that, and I think that's you're missing out if you don't have that. So really, in an about page. So and that's what we have on Tech Site Builder when you first sign up. We have a homepage, an about page, a services page, contact page, and a blog page. So
keep it simple. That's the okay. So I guess the next question was, okay, yeah, keep it simple. But the next question I had here in my sheet was, should there be any more advanced pages that you should maybe think about when it comes to an IT business? If you're maybe a managed service provider or a break fix, would there be anything a little bit more advanced that you maybe think about having? Or
Yeah, they're the pages where you can provide, for example, a portal that your customers could log into
Okay.
to see, updates on their tickets or past work, or you can have downloads. Something
Okay.
you can put on there is like a remote support link that they can just click on to easily get remote support.
I've
And I
actually,
like to
yeah,
hide all of that behind a login because you don't just want any random person finding that stuff.
yeah.
You want it to be kind of a exclusive content for just your clients.
I've
So
seen
that's kind
that.
of
Sorry, I've seen that work really well locally from an SEO perspective. There's a company that I used to compete with, and they were always number one in Google, and I couldn't figure out. I mean, they had an older website than I did at the time, but I couldn't figure out why they were number one. I looked at their backlink profile, I looked at their content, and I couldn't figure it out. And then I finally got onto their contact page, and they've got their remote support download tool on their contact page. And I've actually been a client of this company as well.
yeah,
And they tell when you phone up for support, they tell you to go to the contact
go to the
page to
page. Yep.
download the tool. It turns out Google's looking at that flow on the site, and it's
Yeah.
going, they're all going to the contact page, all these different visits, and I
Yep.
think that's probably why they're ranking high.
That could be. That's a great strategy. I like that. So
Yeah.
you just send them to the page on your website. And I agree. If any chance you have, whether it's through a newsletter that you send out, whether it's through, telling your clients to look up information on your ticket, always send them through your website whenever possible. Because again, you're right. Google looks for engagement. They look for click-throughs. They look for all of that stuff, and that helps for all of that.
Okay. All right. Next module then, or next topic we've got here is website layout. Now I'm going to ask you about menus on your website. Where should you have your menus? Menu plural as an option, I guess. One or two menus or three. And what should be on your menus for your navigation?
Right. So my number one advice is to just don't try to be clever or different just for the sake of being different. I know some people try to get creative with their design. A trend nowadays is to have that mobile kind of hamburger 3-line menu
Yep.
that you would see on a mobile phone. Have that as part of your main website too, so that you're not cluttered, quote unquote, with a navigation menu. You have to click that button first to see it. I'm a big proponent of the fewer clicks your customers have to make to get to the information they need, the better. So
Okay. Yeah.
that's adding just one extra click. So I would have the traditional, just, horizontal navigation menu at the top of your website. You want to feed into visitors' expectations of what a website should look like. That way they're not trying to think extra hard to find what they need to find. They know that typically a website has a navigation menu at the top, either below or above the logo. I like to have it be below the logo. Sometimes if it's above, people think it's like one of those notification bars.
Yep.
So they might just gloss over it really quickly. So underneath the logo, have it be, a nice color that stands out so people can see it. Because, you want people to go to the menu to try to find what they're looking for.
Okay.
And then from there, again, it's just a matter of keeping it simple. Those 4 pages or 4 or 5 pages that I mentioned were the main pages you want would probably be what you'd put up in the navigation menu. I'm not a big fan of drop-down menus.
Yeah. Okay.
Because people get confused if they hover over a menu item. Should they click on the main menu item, or should they try to find what they're looking for in the drop-down?
Yeah.
And then that can lead to confusion. So just have the main menu, click on it. Once they get to that page, then you can have maybe like the breakout of your services or some sub menu items that you might want on the page itself instead of the drop down.
So if you mentioned not having the drop down menu or the hamburger menu on your website, from a mobile perspective where screen real estate's limited, is there anything that you'd maybe implement there or suggest there, and how the menu should look on a mobile device?
Yeah, so you do, that hamburger menu does work well on a mobile device.
Okay.
So that's where it would work. I'm just saying, not on the full desktop version of the site, not to have that kind of.
All right.
But yeah, you're right. On mobile phones, definitely real estate is premium. So to truncate the menu down to, a button or something is perfectly fine, I think.
Okay. All right. So these basic pages that we've got on our website, there's usually an about us page or, about the company page. Is there anything that you would do with the about page? Any suggestions or advice there and how that
Yep.
should look?
Yeah, I would really encourage you to be friendly and personal on the about page. Put a picture of yourself and your team.
Okay.
Pictures of faces are always the best type of picture to have on your website, and especially if it's actually you, and not just some generic stock photo of a tech in a server room or something. If it's
Okay.
actually you, you could put that on your homepage, but the best place to have it is on the about page because people are going there specifically to learn more about the business.
Okay.
They want to connect with a person and not a company. So have your picture there, saying you're the owner, lead technician, whatever. And then just, kind of tell the story of the company as if you were having a conversation with a buddy over beer. Don't make it sound too corporate or too technical.
Yeah. So
And
is
have it be fun.
is it about striking that balance then? If it's too technical, or I guess even from the image of yourself on the homepage, it's like, well, what type of image do you want? A professional sort of looking image, or is it something more casual? Is there a balance to strike, or?
I would encourage you to put a picture on there as close as possible to what your client would see if they were to meet you in some kind of business environment. So
Okay.
if you wear a suit and a tie when you visit your clients, if that's the kind of business you have, then be formal in a suit and a tie on the picture. If you're just wearing a polo and you do in home visits and you're just wearing like a polo shirt with your logo on it or something, be wearing that in the picture. Just try to have it be so you set the expectation of who you are and what your company is. That way when the client does see you, they're not like taken aback that you're totally different than the picture that they saw.
Yeah, you're
like,
saying that.
Like in the online dating profiles when you see one of the person and then you meet them and they're like 20 years older than you saw. That can lead to a bad date.
That makes sense. It's like common sense, really, but that's the type of thing that I need pointed out to me, and I'm sure there might be people in the audience as well. So the About Us page, how does that differ from the contacts page? The contacts page, what should that have on it?
Yeah, and you mentioned it's common sense, and it is, but it's stuff that people don't think about, and I see time and time again people just aren't doing these things because I don't know why.
Well, I know in the IT world, for me anyway, and I know there's a lot of other people like myself in the IT world. It's usually we overthink things, and it's that engineer view. You're trying to solve a problem, and that's why you overthink maybe your website. So it's good to have this sort of outlay that keep it simple.
Right.
Okay.
And then for the contact page, the contact page, has one purpose, and that's for people to reach out to you. So I would just make sure that you have multiple ways to do that. So, you have the contact form, I think is a key to have a form there and not just an email address, because people want to contact you right then. And again, you want to reduce the amount of clicks, reduce the amount of going different places. So you have the contact form there. That particular contact form, I would, again, make very simple. Ask for as little information as you need to be able to reach back out to them.
Okay.
So, name, email, and description is the very minimum. You might want to throw in a phone number. I wouldn't ask for their address right away.
Yeah.
Sometimes people like to have a drop down of what type of issue they're having. At this point, I wouldn't even do that.
Okay.
I would have an open field saying, how can we help you? And then they can say what they want to say. Because if you give them a drop down and they don't see what they need in that drop down, they might just assume that you're not going to be able to help them and move on.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense, because that's you appealing to the user, isn't it, as opposed to you finding out the information. Okay.
Right. Yep. And then you want and then you want some other piece of information. You can have like a Google map of your location if you're a storefront. That's good. Yep. People like to see that. And of course your address and your phone number, and social media links are a good thing to put on this page as well.
Okay.
Some folks might want to reach out to you in social and give them
on other channels. Yeah.
So just any way people can reach out to you through any channel that you're on, put it on the contact page.
Okay. What about a pop-up or a, you know, or a chat box, is that something that you condone?
I do like the chat boxes. I think chat boxes are great. I think they, I personally have had a lot of success putting a chat box on the Tech Site Builder website.
Okay.
Because a lot of people have questions when they visit your site, and you can't ever anticipate every question and answer it on the site itself.
Okay.
So having that box pop up, they can, you know, immediately ask you a question and then you can answer it. A lot of the chat box apps or services that are out there allow you to have some form of intelligence and auto responding built into it.
Okay. The AI, yeah.
Yeah, and like chat bots and stuff are becoming a big thing. So eventually you can have someone come to your site, you can be off helping a client, they can have a conversation with your chat bot saying, you know, hey, I think I have a virus. Your chat bot would say, you know, tell us a little bit more, and then it would lead them in the right direction.
Oh, I see.
Lead them to a specific services page where they can book a specific service or something.
Okay, that's clever. I find it interesting that you're saying that there's usually a lot of questions come through in that chat box. I guess that can give you an idea of maybe your general website visitors, the type of questions that they've got in their head, and maybe answer some of them in website content.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And some people are in just such a hurry that they don't even want to bother looking for the answer to their question. They just want to talk to somebody. You know, personally, like for me, when I need help with a specific piece of software I'm using or something, and I go on their website, the first thing I look for is a chat functionality, because that way I can chat with them, but I can still be doing something else as well, and I can kind of multitask.
Okay.
It's harder to do that on the phone or if I try to write an email.
Yeah. Okay.
So give that, you know, level of service to your clients as well. I think that's a great idea.
Okay. Is there a chat box built into Tech Site Builder?
There is on the techsitebuilder.com where you go to find out about the service. For individual Tech Site Builder users, I let them choose what they want to use.
Okay.
You know, a big philosophy for Tech Site Builder for me is I'll let people who do things well do those well, and people can use those third-party services. For me, what I do well is building a nice looking site and make it easy for you to set up. And then you can add in things like, you know, the repair shopper, like a book an appointment things, the chat boxes, you know, stuff like that. You can go to those third-party places that do that stuff really well and integrate it yourself.
Okay. All right. Final question in regards to the layout. Now, this probably maybe not such a big deal for managed service providers, but for the break fix ad hoc guys and girls, is should you show your prices on your website? I can see both sort of ends of the conversation, why you might or why you might not. What's your view on it, Matt?
Yeah, it's tricky. I think you just need to really consider why you're putting the price on your website. If it's because you want to show that you're the cheapest or most affordable option, that's probably not the right reason, because then you'll start to compete on price, and you'll start attracting the people who are looking for deals, and they'll try to, you know, negotiate the price down. And there's always going to be someone who can be cheaper than you.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't do it for that reason. I would do it though to, if you have maybe higher prices than normal, I would use that as a way to filter out the bargain shoppers. As a way to establish yourself as a professional, you know, consultancy that requires these higher prices. But make sure along with the price that you're talking about the value that you provide. And I always like to lead with the value, and then maybe have the price as kind of almost an afterthought, as again, kind of a filtering mechanism.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually, is being able to filter. And I kind of like that perspective of filtering out that 80% and going after the 20%, the cream of the crop, with your client base. I know when I was doing ad hoc, that was usually the first question that I had when I get a phone call was, how much does it cost to fix this problem?
So you can avoid those types of questions.
Yeah, and I would always say on the phone, I'm X amount. I'm probably not the cheapest, and this is the reason why I'm not the cheapest. And that I had that whole sort of sales pitch down over the phone, and it would usually win me the business when I was telling clients about, you know, what the value was of the service.
Yeah, and so that's a reason not to put the prices on your website, right? Because you want
Yeah,
to
well, that was
encourage people to
the whole
contact.
point. I want people to call me so that
Yep.
I could convert them, because I had such a badly laid out website at the time.
Right.
If I could get the phone call, then I had a better chance of converting the client.
And it's a personal decision. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer with that. I just think you need to think about why you're putting the price on your site, and then make it deliberate and realize that it's probably better to have higher prices. And you know, if you don't put the prices on, it's going to encourage people to contact you. You might or might not want that, because if you're a one-man shop, you can't afford to have people contacting you all hours of the day.
Yeah.
It can get overwhelming. So it just depends.
Okay. All right. Next module I've got here is user flow. Let me bring up the questions. 2 seconds. So yeah, I've heard this being used in the past, user flow on a website, and how you guide a visitor through your website. Have you got any advice on how that should be planned, or when it comes to navigation, how you maybe plan that?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, just think about it. A lot of people don't even think about the user flow. They just say, here's a page of information, there you go. But you really, you do want to think about, you know, first of all, people will land on your website on different pages. They won't necessarily land on the home page as the first they land on. It could be a blog post, could be your about page, could be whatever. So the first thing is you want to make sure that every page on your website has a way for people to contact you, has your phone number, has maybe even a list of services on the side in the sidebar or something.
Okay.
You want to kind of give those key pieces of information on every page of your website. That way it's there, and people can see it. Whatever key piece of information you think is required that you want new people to know about you.
Okay. So would, you know, you mentioned there your telephone number on every page. Would you have that at the top of the site of the page, or would you have it at the bottom, or both?
I like to have it at the top, just because that way it's always visible. I know personally when I visit service companies' websites and I'm doing some research, and then I'm like, okay, this looks like a place I'd like to do business with. Sometimes I have to go hunting for the phone number. I might have to click through to the contact page before I'll find the phone number.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's in the header, put it in the header, put it in the footer, you know, put it both places. That way, if someone's first visiting a page, they see it. If they scroll down to the bottom of the page, they'll see it as well.
Okay. All right.
Another thing about user flow is I like to, you know, provide a call to action at the end of every single page of the website. So
okay, what would that be?
I like buttons. So I like to have a button at the bottom of every page that says, you know, and have it be tailored to that page. So if you're visiting the MSP services page, at the bottom, you would say, you know, contact us for a free consultation, or contact us, you know, to book your MSP plan, or I don't know, I'm just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Whatever, but you know, every page should have a call to action at the bottom, because, you know, you don't know when someone's going to be ready to take action. And it's normally going to be after they've consumed the content on a specific page. So when they get to the bottom of the page, having a button right there prompting them to take action will be more likely for them to take that action.
Yeah, to get that conversion.
Yeah, as opposed to just relying on them to take the action and look to see where they can go to do it.
Yeah. What about, I mean, I was working on a page today actually, and it was a content manager on that designed the page. He actually had, like 5 different, they were the same call to action, but he had them peppered into the content. Have you got any view in that? Is that something that you should maybe try, or is that again maybe overthinking things?
Yeah, I don't really have a strong opinion either way. I think I don't think it's required, but it could help. I know personally, especially like in blog posts, the longer the page, I think the more beneficial that would be.
Yeah.
Have, you know, a super long blog post or service description page, and it's, you know, pushing 1,000 words or more. Throw in call to action in the middle might be beneficial.
And should the call to action, if you maybe you have more than one on the page, should it always be the same call to action, or can you have?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. Okay.
I would think so, because I think you would have one main action that you would want the user to take on that page,
Mm-hmm.
especially for computer businesses, because really, what actions are they going to take? It's to contact you.
Yes,
That's the main
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
So you know, that would be the call to action that you would put.
Well, I guess the other one would be the email. Like if you sign up for the newsletter, that would be another call to action. You know, generating that mailing list.
Yep,
So,
that's another good example.
So where would you have that? The newsletter call to action, would that be something on the sidebar, or would you?
The newsletter call to action, I like to put any call to action, which is the main action you want them to take, should always be in the same area where your main content is.
Okay.
So not in a sidebar, not in the header, not in the footer, right in the main body of the content, because that's where the people spend their time. That's where they're looking.
Yeah.
A lot of people have trained themselves to totally ignore sidebars and totally ignore headers and footers, and they just the content.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually, because that's something that I do. I filter out everything. I mean, I've got a Chrome plugin for to block out the ads, but yeah, my brain's probably doing the same for the rest of the junk that's on the page as well.
Right, and there's been studies that have shown that to be the case. That when someone visits a site, the click through and conversion rate in anything in the sidebar is like 0.0 something %. It's like super low.
Okay.
And really, you want what you want them to do to be where they're spending their time, and that's in the main area.
Okay.
But as far as the newsletter sign up, I like to put those on blog posts.
Mm-hmm.
Because when someone reads a blog post, especially for the first time, they might not be to the point where they trust you or are ready to use your services and pay you.
Okay.
So that's where you have the newsletter sign up. But on your services pages, on your about page, those types of pages, that's where I would put like a direct contact us, hire us, because that's probably when they'll be ready to make that decision.
Yeah, that's really good advice, actually. Yeah, and that's where you would have to think about things and not maybe keep such a simplistic approach. Okay. Module 4 here, we've got mobile optimization. Now this might be this question I've got in my head. It's maybe something that's taken care of now. You'll have more of an idea about this. I've seen in the past when you maybe have a website that's optimized for mobile and it's a completely separate website. What is the recommended, or what's your recommended way of handling mobile devices on a website? Should it all be on one website, responsive, or two websites, or something else?
I personally really like having a mobile responsive website. So the same website that you see on a desktop will be the same website you see on a mobile phone, but it's, it fits the screen and it's optimized so it looks good on the mobile screen. A couple reasons why. Number one, you're spending all your time on the regular website. You're producing content, you're putting lots of cool stuff on there.
Mm-hmm.
You want that available on a mobile phone as well, especially with social media. You promote a blog post, you promote a service page on social media. You don't know if someone's going to be clicking that link on a phone or on a desktop.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that experience is the same and they're able to see everything you want them to see. Number two, the mobile optimized website is not necessarily SEO optimized, like a desktop site where you can control the meta tags and the description and put alt text on images and stuff like that.
Okay.
If you have a separate mobile site, it might not be considering all those factors.
Yeah.
And nowadays, before that was okay, but now since Google is crawling sites and checking for mobile optimization on them, and it's treating those mobile sites just like a desktop site where it's looking for all those key factors. You want those available. So to make those available, you would want that the same site that you see on desktop to be on mobile. Really, those separate mobile sites were created back in the day when desktop sites weren't mobile optimized. So you would be able to easily mobile optimize your site by having a separate mobile site. But these days it's not necessary. Most themes and website templates and stuff that you find, including Tech Site Builder, is all mobile optimized. What I would do though is just anytime you create a new like section of your website, or not necessarily every new blog post, but every new like main section where you might have different columns and stuff. Just open it up on a mobile phone and make sure everything's visible, everything lays out properly.
Yeah.
That should always be a step you take when you create a new website or you add a new, page to the website.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. And I don't think I've ever really done that. Is go and check, parts of my site to see what they look like on a
Right.
mobile device. I've maybe been on the homepage or something like that, but yeah,
And I think it's very important for local computer repair shops, because people are usually on the go when they're doing research for this stuff. Like for techsitebuilder.com, I know the majority, like 80% of people who visit techsitebuilder.com visit it from desktop, not mobile. So
okay.
I don't put a lot of effort in making TechSite Builder the main, marketing page of TechSite Builder to mobile optimized, because I know people visit it because they're watching, my podcast, or they visit a forum or something. These are computer techs that are
they're on a desktop,
in front of a desktop. So that's something to just keep in mind. Maybe just check out your Google Analytics if that's something you're able to do, and see where the majority of your visitors are coming from.
Okay.
I'd bet, especially for computer repair shops and local focused shops, that the majority of your visits will probably be coming from mobile these days.
Yeah. So is there any other mobile considerations that we should make?
That's a big reason why I like buttons, because buttons translate well to mobile. Instead of a link where you have to, you can fat finger it and miss it, or find it, a button is this nice kind of big thing that people can just press with their finger. So any important action you want someone to take, make it a button, or make it, a big text thing. And it's not too important on desktop, but that really comes into play on mobile devices. Also really be thinking about speed. So, if you have a service page and you have all these videos and images on the page, just be cognizant of how that's going to affect the mobile experience. Maybe, I like to have, for videos, I like to have a thumbnail of the video on the page. Someone has to click it, and then it either opens a pop-up or opens a video on a separate page. So that way the loading of the video doesn't slow down the loading of the page.
Yeah, you've got less script on your page. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I had another question that was in my head, and it's just left me now. Yeah, this. Well, it doesn't matter. It can't be that important. So that's mobile considerations. I mean, you've obviously got other devices like iPads and small screens. Maybe is there any other considerations in regards to other devices that we should maybe make, or are they the two main ones, desktop, mobile?
Yeah, I think as long as you have desktop and mobile covered, it should be okay for other sizes.
Okay.
Tablets. When the tablet's in landscape, normally a good desktop layout will fit well. When it's in the portrait mode, then it kind of might shrink down to more of a phone layout. And it's worth checking out. If you have a tablet handy, just load up your site and see how it looks. But most of the time, it's not a big deal. And most of the time, people aren't visiting your site on a tablet anyways.
Okay, all right. It's come back to me now. The click to call feature, and it's like your HTML code.
Yeah.
Having a clickable link that actually dials a number on a phone. Is that something that you implement or suggest?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely good.
I love that one.
Yeah, that's
because I hate being on a website and they don't have that feature, and maybe the browser hasn't recognized the telephone number.
Yeah.
You have to try and copy the number and then paste it and into the dialer. Yeah. So
another thing is, anytime you have your phone number or address, make sure it's in plain text and not like an image. I see that sometimes where people put their contact info in an image for whatever reason. I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
And then they put the image on the website. And first of all, that's going to ruin the click to call, but also because, like you said, some browsers and some platforms will automatically recognize a phone number. Like I know if you have like the Skype plugin for Chrome, it'll automatically like put an icon next to a phone number saying, hey, do you want to click this and call it on Skype? So you want to keep that in mind. Also SEO, you want Google to be able to crawl this stuff.
Yeah, it's the same with the email, but I guess there is a good reason for, well, I always thought there was a good reason for having your emails and image, and that's so you don't get like spammed by bots. But I guess that's
for the email, I would not publish your email. I would instead just rely on the contact form.
Okay. All right. And why do you say that?
For what you said,
Okay.
just, you don't want to get crawled by spam bots and they pick up your email address. Also, if I find that just, there can be a disconnect between if someone clicks on an email address, what program pops up.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people have that configured, sometimes they don't, and it could cause confusion and it might not even open up anything. And so the contact form, you know exactly where it's going to go, and you know exactly what information you're asking for, that kind of thing.
Okay. All right. That concludes module 4. Is there anything that I've maybe missed here that's particular to this topic that I haven't asked?
Just one thing that I would mention is, don't worry about, for example, sometimes I see on other websites, people have like their Facebook feed of like all the stuff they post on Facebook in a little box, or the Twitter feed, or they'll have, badges of all the different certifications they have showing up on every page on the sidebar or something.
Mm-hmm.
You can show off your certifications on 1 or 2 pages. Maybe the about page is a good place to put that. And if there's a relevant certification for a particular service, then, like if you have a Cisco certification, you could put that on your networking services page. But you don't need to put that on every page. It just clutters things up. And those Facebook feeds, those aggregated feeds,
Mm-hmm.
Number one, they can slow the site down because it's got to go to Facebook to pull that in. Number two, it's taking people away from your page. So if they click on one of those posts in Facebook, then they'll go off to Facebook, and then of course they'll get distracted because that's what Facebook is good at doing.
That comes down to user flow again, doesn't it? Okay.
Yeah. So you want to keep people on your website until they're ready to hire you or contact you or sign up for your mail list, whatever that CTA, that primary call to action is. Everything else, you don't want to distract them, and you don't want to send them away. So even like I said, the social media icons to go to your profile, I would only put those on the contact page.
Okay.
Like, people like to put them in the header and in the footer. Don't even do that, because really, why would someone want to go to your Facebook page when they're on your website?
Yeah. That makes that makes perfect sense. Yeah, keep them down the bottom.
That was the other point I wanted to make.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot of bases.
Yeah, well, I try. I think this is important for people, because you could, as I said, you could be paying for Facebook ads, or you could invest a lot of time in search engine optimization, and you could have quite good traffic to your website, but you might be losing customers or phone calls just because of those holes in your website. So I think we maybe covered quite a few of them here today. So appreciate your time, Matt. How can people get in contact with you?
You can head over to techsitebuilder.com. That has, a contact form. You can reach out and you can learn more about TechSite Builder. I'm also pretty active on Facebook and LinkedIn. So if you just search for Matthew Rodela on either of those platforms, you'll find me. I run the Computer Business Marketing group on Facebook.
Yeah, I really like that group.
Yeah, and got, videos and stuff I put out. So follow me on one of those platforms.
Excellent. Okay, well, thanks for being on the show today, Matt. Really appreciate it. I'm sure we'll catch up soon.
Yeah, had a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Okay, thanks, folks. Bye.